Of course, was Ed Sheeran's new single, Bad Habits. He joins me now from the recording studio where he's putting the final touches to his next album. It is so good to see you. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me on. I wanted to do this for so long, and I'm sorry I'm not there in person. I'm basically, this is like the last day of the album. Everything's getting handed in, and yeah, signing it off.
Oh, it's fantastic. I'm so glad because it's been a wee while. I mean, you know, you have had other things, obviously babies, and we've had lockdown and all of that. But the final album, are you happy with it? Is it all fine? Are you like ready for it to get out there?
Yeah, I feel good about it. It's very emotive. I know the first single's quite like shocking. I think it's bad, you know, bad habits. It sounds very different, but the album, I think I've it feels like a coming of age album. I had a really close friend pass away last year and sort of went through grief for the first time properly. I became a dad and turned 30 all in the kind of same period of time. And the album is sort of a reflection of just coming to terms with all of that, I feel.
And it'll all be there. That's why your music means so much to people, because it gets them, you know, it touches their heart. And that's such a skill. I love the video. I absolutely love the video for Bad Habits. It kind of reminds me of a movie called The Lost Boys. And it's kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It's all that, isn't it?
Yeah, that was it was basically the thing that the video director said was Clockwork Orange meets Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which are two obviously very, very different things. But yeah, it was really fun to do. We shot it in Catford over like 3 days, and I've just never really looked like that before, and it was fun to put on something different.
Yeah, well, you look fantastic. And what I love about you is you do such interesting collaborations. You're always surprising us. We never quite know what you're going to do next. And that, you know, we can't, like David Bowie, we can't put you in a category because there you are doing something else and surprising us. And that, I guess that must keep you inspired and creative too.
I think for me, I mean, always on the album, I always end up having a few singles and then a big ballad, and I feel like I'm known for the ballads, and I never want to just do that because I feel people will, as you said, like people need to be surprised. And for me, if I'm just in one box the whole time, it's not very exciting for anyone, I think.
But also what you do is you've done incredibly well, of course you have, but you pass that on, you know. I know how, but sort of behind the scenes a lot, you know, you're helping new talent, you know, you're helping people. Anne-Marie has said that you really helped her. Loads and loads of people have kind of, it's like you're the kind of mentor in a way. Is that, are you comfy with that?
I sort of learned it from but the guy that I was signed to from my management was Elton John, and I sort of learned that from him. He kind of had this attitude of sometimes like older artists can get a bit jaded when new artists come through and they go, oh my God, there's this new person and they're doing better than me and blah, 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 blah. And I think it's perfectly natural for music to go through cycles, and to every year there's someone new that comes through and you suddenly become old news. And it's you can let yourself get jaded, or you can actually just put your arm around the person and be like, hey, anything you need, any advice, like I'm here to call, like not even like on a business sense, just on like a personal sense. And I find it's been very helpful for both me and other artists that I've kind of got to know, of just being cool, just being friends with people and just being there to give advice. Because the first couple of years that I was in the music industry was like a real shift of, you know, friends, family, people that I work with, just people treating you differently and having to navigate that whilst having to achieve expectations that people have in you. And it can get quite difficult at the beginning. And I love being able to help people navigate their way through that now.
No, I know what you mean. It's like when you're in this position that you're in, you're the same, but sort of everybody else around about you changes a little bit, and that's, you know, that's exactly what you just said. It must be very
but also because I you know, it's perfectly natural to change as well. I got into the music industry when I was 19, like properly, and you know, I'm 30 now. Of course, I've changed. I've grown up. I've matured. I've become a father. I'm like all these things. So that it's perfectly natural to change as well. But definitely at the beginning of it, you sort of see your whole world flip on its head, and people that you have known for years and years and years just be completely different. And it's again, it's a perfectly natural thing. But when sort of new artists are coming through and I meet them, it's nice to actually chat to them about these things that would happen and just say that it's totally normal and just kind of your head straight.
Ed, congratulations on the birth of your baby girl. She's Lyra, but she's Lyra Antarctica. Tell me about that.
Well, I realise some people think that's quite a strange name, but my wife's called Cherry, and she is the only Cherry that I've ever met, and I think she's the only Cherry that she's ever met, and I quite like that. Like in my class at school, there was probably 4 Eds maybe, and we just wanted to give her a name that was unique, I guess, and that she would be the only one of that type. I think Lyra is quite a common name now, obviously because of the dark materials. But yeah, we went to Antarctica when tour finished. Basically, I basically toured every single continent, but I've never been to Antarctica, so that was always on our list. So we went down there end of 2019. And it was just incredible. It was the most amazing place on earth. And
it's wonderful. And that just,
so nice.
And it was so special to both of you. I mean, I've been lucky enough to be there. Ed. Isn't it fantastic? Did you sing to the penguins? Please tell me you did. Please.
No.
Aww.
Do you know what's funny about the penguins is you first get there and you go, oh my God, there's penguins everywhere. This is the best. And by the end of it, it's just kind of, because they're there all the time, they just become normal. If that makes sense. It
does make sense. When Lyra's a wee bit older, you'll have to take her there and let her see it.
Yeah. Well, the idea was we were wanting to have children, but we basically said we need to go to Antarctica now before that, because I don't think you can take little kids there. So we'll take her when she's sort of 10, 11, I think.
Yeah, and she can really appreciate it, and it'll be absolutely fantastic. We've had so many people wanting to ask you things. Caroline says, did it take you long to learn the routine with Courteney Cox? Now, you've got this brilliant friendship with Courteney Cox, as I know, very cheeky and naughty, but that was fantastic.
Yeah, I basically arrived at her. So I don't really stay in a hotel when I get to Los Angeles. She's dating my best mate. I actually introduced the two of them weirdly, but yeah, they've been dating about 9 years. So I stay at theirs whenever I'm in LA, and I arrived at her house the night the reunion was being showed, and it finished. And she said, you know what? People really want the routine. We should do the routine. And I was like, what, me? Like, I felt honored that she wanted to do the, it's such a big moment for the show. So we learned it, she put it on her TV, and we learned it over the course of an hour drinking wine. And then the next evening we did it. But yeah.
Well, it's very impressive indeed. I love the fact that you love what you do. And yes, your pals are famous. Of course, they are. Loads of them are hugely famous. But they're your pals. It's not because they happen to be who they are. It's just that that's the kind of circles that you're in. You know, we see you at the football with David Beckham. They're your friends.
Weirdly, I've actually got not that many famous mates. I mean, I've got I've probably close famous mates, maybe 3 or 4 really close ones. But most of my friends are all the people I went to school with. Me and Cherry both went to school together in Suffolk, and all of our mates are the same circle, and they all live in Suffolk as well. And our parents live there, and our mates' parents live there, and that's our kind of community. But I do have, close. If I'm in Los Angeles, there's close people there that I can rely on or call on, but and mostly
Isn't that really important, though, to have people that you've gone to school with, and, your wife knows you before all this craziness happened? You need that, don't you? You just need that in your life, people that will tell you the truth.
Yeah, well, and also just to kind of bring you back down to reality in the weirdest sense. So with the day that Bad Habits came out, I had texts from mates being congratulations on the single coming out. And my mate Doug just messaged me just being I'm thinking of setting up a farm-to-table egg restaurant, eggnog, poached eggs, scrambled eggs. What do you think? And that was his way of saying congratulations on the single coming out.
Right.
I have, my mates are very special. I love them.
Oh, no, you need that. You really do. But for goodness sake, Ed, having people like Judy Dench being grateful to you because you had to save her grandson, didn't you?
Oh, man, they're so sweet, man. They're so sweet. Yeah, her grandson is a fan, and I've met him a bunch of times. He brought her to Wembley, and she's just incredible. She's really, really sweet. And that whole family are lovely.
I know, and it is incredible. The likeness of her grandson to you is extraordinary. Yeah. Look, he looks like your wee brother.
You know, sometimes when people go, "Oh, so and so looks like you," and I can't see it. A lot of the time, there was a BuzzFeed article maybe about 3 years ago of like, it said people who think they've met Ed Sheeran, and it was just usually people with just fat ginger people, and I was like, oh, that doesn't necessarily look like me, but he does have a very striking resemblance to me.
He really does. I mean, he could just be you. You know, like that fella that was pretending to be Klopp the other day? He could just be you. How are you feeling about Saturday? How are you feeling about that? Because I know you're a massive football fan.
I've thought from the beginning that it's coming home. I think it's, you know, we're in England's Wembley stadiums. I mean, I know Saturday's in Rome, but the team are like so tight and cohesive. They're young, they're fresh, and I think the key is there's not, apart from Harry and Sterling, there's not like star players, if that makes sense. Which is where like Germany was for the World Cup. All the players were sort of on a similar level. There was no one who was sort of treated better than anyone else. They were all basically like the same level of great, and I think that's a very important thing for a team to be, I think.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. I hope you have a wonderful time. Are you going to go? Oh, you can't go because it's in Rome. Where are you going to be watching it?
No, so when I played Wembley Stadium, they basically said you can have an allocation of one pair of tickets a year. So when the Euros were announced in whenever it was, 2019, I got in touch. I was like, I need the final tickets. Can I just have those 2 tickets? So I'm definitely going to the final, fingers crossed, if it happens. But
well, I hope it does. I hope it does. Ed, what a joy. Thank you so much for talking to us, and I hope to see you really soon. And Bad Habits is out now, of course. Don't forget, you can watch full episodes of Lorraine on the ITV Hub, and all the best clips, compilations and playlists right here on our channel. Just subscribe now and you'll never miss an upload. Click here to watch another video similar to this one, or click here to head to our channel's homepage to explore all of our exciting videos.